Hey Midnights! We hope you enjoy our stories. Next one, a journey through history's most infamous haunted artifacts and their cinematic lives. Don't forget to subscribe. Haunted artifacts, those chilling relics imbued with an otherworldly presence, have captivated the human imagination for centuries. From ancient curses to modern-day paranormal investigations, the allure and terror of objects said to harbor spirits persist, blurring the lines between folklore, psychology, and the genuinely unexplained. These items, often innocuous in appearance, become focal points for supernatural activity, transforming into conduits for fear, fascination, and a profound sense of the uncanny. The concept of a haunted artifact is deeply rooted in various cultural beliefs surrounding spirits, energy, and the afterlife. Many traditions posit that strong emotions, violent deaths, or unfinished business can tether a spirit to a place or, more specifically, an object. This residual energy or direct spiritual attachment is then believed to manifest as phenomena ranging from subtle atmospheric shifts and unexplained noises to overt poltergeist activity and even physical harm. It is this perceived connection to the beyond that elevates a mere antique into an object of dread and intrigue. Among the vast collection of purported haunted artifacts, some stand out for their particularly chilling stories and the pervasive sense of dread they instill. These are not merely dusty relics, they are tangible links to a world beyond our comprehension, embodying tales of despair, malevolence, and the unsettling unknown. One of the earliest and most infamous haunted or cursed objects in recorded history, gaining significant notoriety in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, is the unlucky mummy, which is, in fact, the gilded mummy board, or coffin lid, of an unnamed high-status woman from the 21st or 22nd Egyptian dynasty, dating back approximately 950 to 900 BCE. The board depicts the idealized, gilded face of the deceased in elaborate detail, complete with painted eyes and hieroglyphic inscriptions, a testament to ancient Egyptian funerary practices designed to ensure safe passage to the afterlife. The legend of the unlucky mummy began shortly after its discovery in an archaeological site near Thebes, Egypt, in the late 1800s. It was acquired by 4 young Englishmen, purportedly through a questionable transaction. According to various widely circulated accounts and anecdotal reports, within a remarkably short period following its acquisition, 2 of these men met untimely and mysterious ends. One died from a seemingly accidental shooting, and another succumbed to a sudden, severe illness. The remaining 2 faced devastating financial ruin and endured hardship. As the mummy board subsequently changed hands among collectors and dealers, a consistent pattern of misfortune seemed to follow its new possessors, including bouts of severe illness, untimely deaths, and devastating financial losses. Its reputation for bringing ill fortune truly solidified when it became erroneously linked to the sinking of the Titanic in 1912. A prominent journalist and occult enthusiast who had written extensively about the mummy board's supposed curse was a passenger on the doomed ocean liner. While official ship manifests and rigorous historical and scientific records unequivocally confirm that no mummy board was aboard the Titanic, the terrifying story that the journalist had regaled fellow passengers with vivid tales of the board's curse just prior to the disaster, and that the artifact was somehow responsible for the ship's fate, became a chilling and enduring urban legend, widely reported in the sensationalist press of the time. The pervasive belief is that the desecration of an ancient tomb, the removal of this sacred funerary object from its intended resting place, and perhaps the unceremonious handling of the deceased's effigy, incurred a potent curse from the ancient Egyptian deities or the restless, vengeful spirit of the woman it was intended to protect in the afterlife. This significant artifact is currently displayed in a dedicated exhibit in the Egyptian Sculpture Gallery at the British Museum in London, England, where it continues to intrigue and, for some, subtly unsettle the millions of visitors who pass through its doors annually. The unlucky mummy board has not been destroyed, it remains remarkably intact, meticulously preserved under museum conditions, defying its ominous reputation to this day and serving as a testament to both ancient craftsmanship and enduring superstition. No direct feature film has been solely dedicated to the unlucky mummy, but its legend has inspired numerous documentaries and literary works exploring curses and ancient Egypt. More recently, the Dybbuk Box, an unassuming antique wine cabinet, shot to infamy after its owner, Kevin Manus, listed it on an online auction site in 2003 with a detailed and terrifying backstory. The box's origins trace back to a Holocaust survivor who immigrated to the United States after World War II. This survivor, a Polish Jewish woman named Havale, who passed away at the impressive age of 103, allegedly kept the box hidden due to her profound belief that it contained a Dybbuk, a malicious possessing spirit from Jewish folklore, specifically, a dislocated soul that wanders after being unable to find a peaceful resting place. Manus, who bought the box at the survivor's estate sale, described being sternly warned by the woman's granddaughter that the box was never, under any circumstances, to be opened as it contained this malevolent entity. The prevailing theory for its haunting centers on this trapped entity, believed to be the dislocated spirit of a deceased person, perhaps a Jew who suffered and perished during the Holocaust, that has attached itself to the wooden box, possibly because it contained items with strong emotional resonance. The spirit is said to manifest its malevolence by causing widespread misfortune, inexplicable illnesses, including rashes and persistent coughs, recurring vivid nightmares, physical scratches on those nearby, and a pervasive sense of dread, despair, and foul odors to anyone who possesses or even interacts with the box for an extended period. Many subsequent owners reported similar or escalating phenomena. The Dybbuk Box is currently housed as a star exhibit at Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum in Las Vegas, Nevada, USA, where it is kept in a specially sealed, climate-controlled display case, reportedly within a room specifically designed for its containment. The Dybbuk Box has not been destroyed, despite the numerous negative experiences reported by its owners and documented by paranormal investigators, and calls from some to destroy it. It remains intact, continuing to be a highly controversial and publicized exhibit that draws considerable attention. The film The Possession, 2012, adapted this story, taking significant creative liberties by depicting a young girl named Emily Brannick becoming aggressively possessed by the Dybbuk after acquiring the box, leading to a dramatic exorcism. This dramatically sensationalized the real-life accounts, which focused more on indirect torment rather than full human possession. Far from the terrifying, porcelain doll with sharp features depicted in the Conjuring film franchise, the real Annabelle the doll is a seemingly innocent, large, approximately 3 feet tall, Raggedy Ann doll with distinctive red yarn hair, button eyes, and a soft, cloth body. Her story began in 1970 in Bridgeport, Connecticut, USA, when a student nurse named Donna received the doll as a birthday gift from her mother, who had purchased it from a local hobby shop. Initially, the doll's movements were subtle and seemed benign, such as appearing in different rooms of their apartment or changing positions while no one was present. However, they soon escalated to leaving strange, handwritten notes, often on parchment paper, and a friend of Donna's, named Lou, being mysteriously attacked and scratched with deep, claw-like marks on his chest and back. The reason for its haunting, according to renowned paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, is not that the doll itself is inherently possessed by a human spirit, but rather that a malevolent, non-human, demonic, entity is attached to it. This entity initially posed as the benevolent spirit of a young girl named Annabelle Higgins who had supposedly died tragically on the property, attempting to gain the trust of Donna and her roommate, Angie. However, the Warrens, through their extensive investigations and interviews, determined that this was a cunning ruse by a manipulative demonic presence seeking to gain the trust of the young women, intending to eventually achieve full, devastating possession of one of them. The doll, therefore, serves as a kind of beacon or conduit for this demonic presence, making it an extremely dangerous object that amplifies negative energy and malicious intentions, acting as a portal for the entity to interact with the physical world. Annabelle is famously secured in a locked, specially constructed glass case, prominently featuring a warning sign, at the Warrens Occult Museum in Monroe, Connecticut, USA. The doll is reportedly subjected to regular blessings and prayers to maintain its containment, and access to the doll within the museum is strictly limited, with visitors warned not to touch the case. Annabelle has not been destroyed. The Warrens firmly believe that attempting to destroy the doll would only unleash the malevolent entity, making it free to roam and cause even more widespread harm, potentially targeting anyone. Instead, they opted for perpetual containment and regularly performed spiritual binding prayers and blessings to keep the entity from manifesting and causing further harm within the museum. The Annabelle film series, 2014, 2017, 2019, and her appearances in the Conjuring films dramatically altered the doll's appearance to a more menacing porcelain figure and fabricated an elaborate origin story involving cults and direct demonic possession, diverging significantly from the real, more subtle, and psychologically unnerving accounts. Housed in the East Myrtles Museum in Key West, Florida, USA, Robert the Doll is a 4-foot-tall, somewhat weathered doll dressed in a blue sailor suit, clutching a small, worn stuffed lion. His origins are somewhat debated, but the most widely accepted and detailed account claims he was a gift to young artist Robert Eugene Otto around 1904. The doll was allegedly handmade by a Bahamian servant of the Otto family, who was reportedly skilled in traditional African esoteric practices, including voodoo, and purportedly cursed the doll in retaliation for perceived mistreatment or disagreements with the Otto family. This powerful and malevolent curse is the primary reason attributed to Robert's haunted nature. The doll is believed to be inhabited by a malevolent spirit, which some theorize is either the vengeful spirit of the disgruntled servant herself, now vengeful, or a powerful, negative entity summoned through the voodoo curse. This entity is said to have tormented young Eugene throughout his childhood and well into adulthood, causing strange occurrences such as furniture being overturned, objects inexplicably thrown across rooms, and eerie giggling sounds heard throughout the house, often followed by Eugene blaming the doll with the phrase, "Robert did it." Neighbors reportedly witnessed the doll moving from window to window when the family was away, and visitors to the Otto home described a palpable sense of unease or being watched intensely when in Robert's presence. Even after Eugene's death in 1974 and Robert's eventual relocation to the museum in 1994, the curse is believed to persist, leading to the various misfortunes reported by those who disrespect the doll, such as failing to ask for permission before taking his photograph, or mocking him, including technological malfunctions, car accidents, job losses, broken bones, and even severe illnesses. Many visitors mail letters of apology to Robert after experiencing bad luck. Robert the doll is on prominent display in a glass case at the East Myrtle Museum in Key West, Florida, USA, where he continues to be a popular, albeit unsettling, attraction, receiving a constant stream of visitors and a large volume of apology letters from those who believe they have been cursed by him. Robert the doll has not been destroyed, he remains remarkably intact, preserved under museum care, captivating visitors with his eerie reputation and the persistent, alleged paranormal phenomena associated with him. The Robert film series, beginning in 2015, takes the basic premise of a haunted doll but crafts entirely fictional, often low-budget, narratives around overt violence and direct attacks, greatly exaggerating the doll's documented activity. Located within the famously haunted Myrtles Plantation in St. Francisville, Louisiana, USA, the Myrtles Plantation Mirror is an antique mirror that serves as a prominent feature of a historic estate steeped in tales of murder, tragedy, and extensive hauntings. Among its many alleged spectral residents, this particular mirror stands out as a focal point for concentrated paranormal activity. The mirror's haunting is directly tied to a profoundly tragic event that occurred at the plantation in 1824. General David Bradford's daughter, Sarah Matilda Woodruff, and two of her young children, James and Cornelia, were purportedly poisoned to death by a disgruntled former employee, a slave named Chloe, though historical records for Chloe are scarce and her existence is debated by some historians. According to pervasive Southern superstition of the era, mirrors in a house should be covered immediately after a death to prevent the deceased spirit from becoming trapped within its reflective surface, thereby preventing them from moving on to the afterlife. It is believed that this particular mirror was inexplicably or deliberately not covered after Sarah and her children's deaths, thus allowing their restless souls to become trapped within its confines, bound to its reflective surface. The mirror is believed to act as a kind of spiritual prison or a portal, allowing their restless souls to manifest as ghostly figures, particularly young children, and to leave inexplicable handprints on its surface, despite repeated and thorough cleaning efforts. Visitors and staff alike frequently report a pervasive sense of profound sorrow, cold spots, and unease when in the mirror's vicinity, as if perpetually reliving their tragic end. Some claim to see the faint outlines of faces or figures within its depths. The haunted mirror remains a prominent feature in the Myrtles Plantation in St. Francisville, Louisiana, USA, which operates as a historic bed and breakfast and offers popular ghost tours, drawing countless visitors seeking a paranormal experience. It is typically displayed in one of the main rooms of the historic house. The Myrtles Plantation Mirror has not been destroyed. In fact, anecdotal reports from the plantation indicate that past attempts to replace the mirror or resilver its surface have been met with the reappearance of the mysterious handprints and the continuation of strange phenomena, suggesting its persistent, alleged supernatural properties are deeply embedded within the object itself. While the plantation has been featured in many documentaries, a major feature film focused solely on the mirror does not exist, though its lore often inspires other Southern Gothic horror narratives. Residing in the Canellan District Museum and Archives in British Columbia, Canada, Mandy the Doll is a small, antique porcelain doll, dressed in a faded dress, with a distinctly forlorn and somewhat unsettling expression. Her haunting began even before her donation to the museum in 1991. The donor, whose identity remains private, reported hearing strange, disembodied crying noises coming from her basement, specifically from the area where Mandy was stored, even when no one else was home. These disturbing, almost childlike, noises only ceased once Mandy was donated to the museum. The exact origin of Mandy's haunting is less clear than some other artifacts, lacking a definitive historical tragedy or curse. However, The prevailing theory among paranormal enthusiasts and some museum staff suggests that a child's spirit, perhaps a young girl who died tragically or had a strong, unresolved emotional connection to the doll, is profoundly attached to it, causing her spirit to linger and manifest through the doll. Since her arrival at the museum, staff have reported a plethora of peculiar incidents, items going missing from display cases and reappearing in illogical locations, disembodied footsteps in empty rooms, and sensitive electronic equipment inexplicably malfunctioning or draining batteries in her vicinity. Visitors often report feeling a strong, unsettling sense of unease, overwhelming sadness, or a distinct sensation of being watched intensely when in Mandy's presence, with some claiming her eyes appear to follow them as they move around her display. The doll is kept in a separate, sealed display case, isolated from other exhibits, as museum staff believe she harms or negatively affects other dolls and artifacts when placed near them, hinting at a lonely, perhaps possessive, or even mischievous child spirit seeking attention or comfort through the doll. Mandy the Doll is housed at the Canal and District Museum and Archives in Canal, British Columbia, Canada. She is a primary attraction, drawing visitors intrigued by her eerie reputation and the persistent, reported phenomena associated with her. Mandy the Doll has not been destroyed, she remains on display, meticulously preserved by the museum, captivating visitors with her eerie reputation and the reported phenomena associated with her, serving as a quiet but persistent source of unease and curiosity. An independent film, Mandy the Haunted Doll, 2018, loosely based on the doll, features fictionalized and more overtly violent supernatural events. While the exact latest haunted artifact is always subject to ongoing claims and new discoveries, one of the more recently acquired and publicly discussed items by prominent paranormal investigators, and featured in recent media, is the Devil's Rocking Chair. This artifact has gained significant attention due to its direct connection to one of the most infamous documented exorcism cases in modern American history, often referred to as the Devil Made Me Do It case. The Devil's Rocking Chair is a simple, wooden rocking chair that gained notoriety as a central piece of the Arnie Cheyenne Johnson murder trial in 1981 in Brookfield, Connecticut. This case was particularly sensational because it marked the first time in U.S. legal history that a defendant attempted to use demonic possession as a legal defense for murder. The chair itself belonged to the Glatzel family. In the summer of 1980, David Glatzel, an 11-year-old boy, began exhibiting terrifying symptoms of demonic possession, speaking in guttural, non-native voices, displaying superhuman strength, having vivid visions of a beast-like figure, and suffering inexplicable physical injuries like scratches and bruises. The Glatzel family, desperate for help, sought the assistance of renowned demonologists Ed and Lorraine Warren. During their investigation, and during multiple exorcism attempts on David, the rocking chair in the Glatzel home became a focal point of intense paranormal activity. It would reportedly rock violently on its own, often levitating inches off the floor, and a demonic entity was believed to be manifesting through it or residing within it, actively tormenting David. The family and the Warrens believed the rocking chair was a conduit for, or even a literal seat of, the demonic forces plaguing David. The haunting escalated, and eventually, David's symptoms seemed to transfer to Arnie Cheyenne Johnson, the fiancée of David's older sister, Debbie Glatzel. Months later, on February 16, 1981, Arnie Cheyenne Johnson tragically stabbed his landlord, Alan Bono, to death. Johnson's defense team, backed by the Warrens, claimed he was demonically possessed at the time of the murder, arguing that the demon that tormented David had transferred to Arnie, compelling him to commit the act. The rocking chair, having been the initial nexus of the demonic activity and a physical manifestation of the entity's presence, became inextricably linked to the malevolence and the eventual tragedy. The belief is that the chair itself became infused with or served as a literal vessel for the demonic entity that caused such profound suffering and ultimately led to a homicide. The Devil's Rocking Chair was acquired by Zach Baggins for his Haunted Museum in Las Vegas, Nevada, USA, in 2019. It is displayed as a significant artifact tied to a real-life case of alleged demonic possession and murder. The Devil's Rocking Chair has not been destroyed, it remains intact and is a prominent, deeply unsettling exhibit in the museum, serving as a tangible link to one of the most controversial and widely publicized paranormal cases of the late 20th century. The film The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, 2021, directly dramatizes the Arnie Cheyenne Johnson case, focusing on the demonic possession defense and the Warrens' involvement, with the chair serving as a powerful symbolic and physical manifestation of the demonic influence, though its portrayal may be cinematically enhanced. The psychological impact of haunted artifacts is undeniable. Belief in the supernatural can prime individuals to perceive anomalies, interpret ambiguous stimuli as confirmation of ghostly presence, and even experience psychosomatic reactions. The anticipation of fear and the power of suggestion can create a highly charged atmosphere around a supposed haunted object, making it difficult to objectively discern genuine paranormal activity from psychological projection. This interplay between belief and experience is a crucial aspect of understanding the enduring appeal of these objects. For some, the thrill lies in the potential for a genuine encounter with the unknown, while for others, the appeal is in the narrative, the macabre history, and the communal experience of sharing in a chilling story. From a scientific perspective, the phenomena associated with haunted artifacts often find explanations within the realms of psychology, environmental factors, and sociological dynamics. While modern science has yet to definitively prove the existence of disembodied spirits or conscious entities that can inhabit inanimate objects, several theories attempt to account for the reported experiences. Firstly, infrasound and electromagnetic fields, EMFs, are often explored. Some researchers propose that low-frequency sound waves, infrasound, often below the threshold of human hearing, typically below 20 Hz, can induce feelings of profound unease, anxiety, sorrow, or even cause physical sensations like shivers, pressure on the chest, and shortness of breath. These frequencies can be generated by natural phenomena, such as high winds, seismic activity, or ocean waves, or man-made sources, like older ventilation systems, heavy traffic, or machinery operating in the vicinity. It is plausible that such infrasound could be present in older buildings or specific environments where many haunted artifacts reside, contributing to the unsettling atmosphere without a supernatural cause. Similarly, fluctuating electromagnetic fields, EMFs, which can be produced by faulty or outdated wiring, electronic devices, or even natural geological phenomena, have been linked to reported phenomena such as feelings of being watched, visual disturbances, peripheral shadows, auditory hallucinations, whispers, clicks, and even a sense of paranoia or disorientation. While not direct evidence of a haunting, these environmental factors could significantly contribute to the perceived haunted atmosphere surrounding certain objects. Secondly, pareidolia and apophenia are powerful cognitive biases. The human brain is remarkably adept at finding patterns and meaning in random or ambiguous stimuli, a fundamental survival mechanism. Pareidolia is the psychological phenomenon where the mind perceives a familiar pattern, like a face or a human figure, in a random or vague stimulus, such as a cloud formation, a stained wall, or the complex textures of an old object. Apophenia is the broader tendency to mistakenly perceive meaningful connections between unrelated things. When an individual is predisposed to believe in ghosts or a haunted object, these cognitive biases can lead them to interpret mundane occurrences, like creaking floorboards in an old building, shifting shadows from external light sources, or the flickering of older light bulbs, as direct evidence of a haunting rather than attributing them to more prosaic, natural causes. The potent power of suggestion, reinforced by compelling narratives about haunted artifacts, can significantly amplify these psychological effects, making a simple anomaly feel profoundly supernatural. Thirdly, confirmation bias and expectation bias play a significant role. Once a belief in a haunted object is established, individuals tend to selectively seek out and interpret information in a way that confirms their existing beliefs, confirmation bias. If someone is told or strongly believes an object to be haunted, they are far more likely to notice and attribute any unusual or ambiguous occurrences, for example, a cold spot, an unexplained noise, directly to the object's alleged supernatural properties, expectation bias. This can lead to a selective reporting of events, where readily available mundane explanations are overlooked or dismissed in favor of paranormal ones, creating a self-reinforcing cycle of belief. Fourthly, the concept of collective hysteria and social contagion can explain widespread reports. In some cases, particularly in shared environments like museums or historical sites, reports of hauntings can spread rapidly through a community or group, leading to a phenomenon akin to collective hysteria or social contagion. As more people hear about a haunted artifact and its purported effects, their own subjective experiences can become profoundly influenced by the shared narrative and group expectation, leading to a heightened sense of fear and an increase in reported phenomena that might not have occurred in isolation. The stories surrounding artifacts like the Dybbuk Box, widely disseminated online and through media, exemplify how such narratives can gain traction and evolve through rapid social transmission, influencing perception on a larger scale. Finally, psychological projection and emotional resonance offer another lens. It's also theorized that strong emotions or traumatic events associated with an object's past can create a powerful emotional resonance for those who interact with it. While not supernatural, The deep psychological impact of knowing an object was involved in a tragedy, a death, or a place of suffering can elicit profound feelings of sadness, fear, grief, or anxiety in sensitive individuals. These intense emotional responses are then often attributed directly to a supernatural haunting emanating from the object itself. The Myrtles Plantation Mirror, with its well-documented tragic history, could strongly evoke such deep emotional responses in susceptible individuals, which are then interpreted as paranormal activity. Despite the scientific attempts to explain these phenomena through naturalistic means, the enduring presence of haunted artifacts in popular culture, folklore, and continued paranormal investigations suggests a deeper human need to grapple with the mysteries of existence, the unknown, and the ultimate fate of consciousness after death. Whether viewed as genuine conduits to the spirit world, fascinating psychological phenomena, or simply captivating cultural touchstones, these chilling artifacts serve as potent reminders of the unseen, the unexplained, and the lingering questions that continue to tantalize and terrify us. They are not merely objects, they are storytellers, chronicling tales of tragedy, unresolved pasts, and the enduring human fascination with the thin veil between our world and whatever lies beyond.